In the bustling streets of a small Mexican village nestled between rolling hills and vibrant markets, Maria clutched her worn suitcase, her heart pounding like the distant thunder of an approaching storm. She had been sent in place of her elder sister, Elena, who had fallen gravely ill just days before the arranged marriage. The family, bound by tradition and desperation to secure their future, had no choice but to offer Maria instead a quiet, unassuming young woman of 22, more at home with books and dreams than the harsh realities of a union she never sought. As the bus rattled away, leaving her alone at the edge of a dusty road leading to her betrothed's modest farm, Maria whispered a prayer, wondering if fate had dealt her a cruel hand or a hidden blessing. Alejandro, the widower she was to marry, greeted her at the door with a stoic nod, his face etched with lines of loss and labor. At 35, he was a man hardened by the untimely death of his wife 5 years prior, leaving him to raise his 6-year-old daughter, Sofia, amid the endless toil of tending crops under the unforgiving sun. The arrangement had been made through distant relatives, a practical solution to his need for a partner and her family's hope for stability. But as Maria stepped inside the simple adobe home, filled with the scent of fresh tortillas and fading memories, she sensed the weight of unspoken sorrow. Alejandro's eyes held no spark of joy. This was duty, not desire. "You'll do," he muttered, showing her to a small room, his voice as barren as the parched fields outside. Sofia, however, was a burst of light in the dim household. With wide, curious eyes the color of rich coffee and curls that danced like wild vines, the little girl peeked from behind her father's leg, clutching a tattered doll. Maria knelt down, offering a gentle smile. "Hola, pequeña. I'm Maria. What's your name?" Sofia hesitated, then whispered, "Sofia. Are you the lady Papa said would come?" Maria nodded, her own nerves easing at the child's innocence. That first evening, as Alejandro worked late in the fields, Maria found herself drawn to Sofia's quiet world. The girl spoke of her mother in hushed tones, how she used to sing lullabies that chased away nightmares. Maria, remembering her own childhood filled with stories from her abuela, began to weave tales of brave heroines and magical gardens, her voice soft and melodic. Sofia's eyes lit up, and for the first time, Maria felt a flicker of purpose in this unexpected path. Days turned into weeks, and the household settled into a fragile rhythm. Maria tended to the chores with quiet efficiency, her hands calloused from scrubbing floors and harvesting maize. Alejandro remained distant, his conversations limited to practical matters, the weather, the market prices, the endless repairs needed on the old tractor. He had chosen Elena for her reputed strength and beauty, qualities that promised a resilient partner for his rugged life. Maria, slimmer and more introspective, seemed a poor substitute, and he made no effort to hide his disappointment. "You're not what I expected," he confessed one night over a simple meal of beans and rice, his words cutting like a dull blade. Maria swallowed her hurt, replying softly, "Life rarely gives us what we expect, but perhaps what we need." Yet inwardly, she wrestled with doubt, questioning if she could ever fill the void in this home, or if she was merely a placeholder in a story not her own. The unexpected turn came on a sweltering afternoon when Sofia wandered too far into the fields, chasing a colorful butterfly that fluttered like a promise of freedom. Maria, hanging laundry on the line, noticed the girl's absence and her heart seized with panic. She called out, searching frantically among the tall stalks of corn, her mind flashing to the dangers, snakes, hidden ditches, or worse. Alejandro was away at the market, leaving her alone in her fear. Finally, she found Sofia, crumpled at the base of a tree, her ankle twisted and tears streaming down her face. Without hesitation, Maria scooped the child into her arms, ignoring the pain in her own back from the weight. "Show me Angelita, I've got you," she soothed, carrying Sofia back to the house. There, she fashioned a splint from cloth and sticks, drawing on memories of her grandmother's herbal remedies to ease the swelling with a poultice of aloe and chamomile. As Sofia whimpered, Maria sang the same lullabies her mother had taught her, her voice a balm against the child's pain. When Alejandro returned that evening, he found Sofia asleep in Maria's lap, her small hand clasped tightly around Maria's fingers. The sight stopped him in his tracks, a crack forming in his armored heart. "What happened?" he demanded, his voice rough with worry. Maria explained calmly, downplaying her role, but Sofia stirred and murmured, "Maria saved me, Papa. She's like an angel." Alejandro's eyes met Maria's, and for the first time, he saw beyond the substitute bride, saw the kindness in her steady gaze, the selflessness in her weary smile. That night, as the stars blanketed the sky like a quilt of hope, he sat with her on the porch. "I was wrong about you," he admitted, his words halting. "Elena might have been the one chosen, but you've brought light back into this house." Maria felt a warmth spread through her, a profound realization that her path, though unintended, was weaving a tapestry of healing. The emotional climax unfolded during the village festival, a celebration of harvest and community where families gathered under strings of colorful lights, sharing food and stories. Sophia, her ankle mended but still tender, insisted on attending, clinging to Maria's hand. As the music swelled and dancers swirled in vibrant skirts, Sophia tugged at Maria's dress. "Will you dance with me, like Mama used to?" she asked, her eyes pleading. Maria hesitated. Dancing had never been her strength, and the crowd's eyes felt like judgment, but seeing the child's hopeful face, she nodded. Together, they stepped into the circle, Maria guiding Sophia with gentle steps, laughing as they twirled clumsily. The villagers watched, whispers turning to smiles, but it was Alejandro who joined them, his calloused hand taking Maria's in a gesture of quiet acceptance. In that moment, amid the rhythm of guitars and the scent of blooming night jasmine, Maria's act of compassion, embracing Sophia's vulnerability as her own, it transformed the fractured family. Tears welled in Alejandro's eyes as he whispered, "Thank you for being here." As the festival lights faded and the family walked home under the moon's gentle glow, Sophia looked up at Maria with wonder. "Papa said God was supposed to send someone like my Aunt Elena, but I think God sent you after all," she said, her words pure and unfiltered. Maria's heart swelled, the weight of her journey lifting like mist in the morning sun. She realized that true bonds weren't forged by arrangements or expectations, but by the quiet acts of kindness that bridged souls. In the days that followed, the home blossomed. Alejandro's laughter returned, Sophia's joy echoed through the rooms, and Maria found love not in grand gestures, but in the everyday miracle of belonging. Years later, as Maria watched Sophia grow into a young woman of grace and strength, she often reflected on that fateful substitution. Life's detours, she knew, were sometimes divine reroutes, leading us to where our hearts were meant to heal and be healed. In a world full of uncertainties, it was the power of selflessness, the willingness to step into another's story, that sparked the greatest transformations. And in that small village, under the vast Mexican sky, hope endured, reminding all that even the unchosen paths could lead to the most profound destinies.